There's only one thing on this earth more powerful than evil, and that's us.
Hello, boys and girls. This is Spike. You're listening to Buffy Back Issue Bin. Don't turn it off or I'll rip your throat out.
Welcome to the Buffy Back Issue, the show we go through all the Buffy and Firefly and Angel comics, and where we milk a topic for maybe a little bit longer than we should, but, you know, not an unreasonable amount. I'm Zach.
And I'm Emily.
Was that one a little better?
As opposed to...
Last time I just said Buffy and Firefly.
Oh, yeah.
This one was more honest.
It was definitely more honest. I don't know if that's better or not, but it was definitely more honest.
Yeah, we're really not going to milk it for much longer.
But today we are.
I think it's a worthy topic.
We're going to talk about Buffy and Faith.
Because they're the main ladies, or two of the main ladies. One of them is at least the main lady.
Is it Faith?
Yeah. I mean, she was in a season or two called Angel and Faith.
Well, there you go.
So she's one of three titular characters.
That's just a fun word to say now, isn't it?
Titular Faith.
That lost its meaning.
Ah.
Very quickly.
But the topic of discussion for today is, can Buffy and Faith be normal, well-adjusted adults? And I'd like to pose it by looking at the end and what we know. We know that demons are at an all-time low, Slayers are all slaying about, and Buffy and Faith are in the police academy. Buffy's finally following through with that aptitude test from season 2, that story point that never got dropped. I felt like it was meant to be a one-off gag, just kept coming back.
To be fair, I'm not really sure what else Buffy would be super suited for. It seems very
Slaying.
Fitting. Well, yeah, but that can't really be a job unless you're just a straight-up assassin, and then that's semi-illegal.
Very unclear how much money was left over from the Watchers Council. I feel like just paying her for that would be fine.
To be a watcher?
To be a Slayer.
Do you get paid for that?
She should have. I feel like the council had a lot of money. I mean, then they got all blowed up, but...
I feel like once you get blowed up, you don't have the money anymore.
Giles still had connections. Connections enough to get all of Faith's murder charges to go away, which is going to be key to this discussion. What would the murders in becoming a police officer?
You know, I'm going to call that thing she did when she was a minor.
Unclear.
I think she was a minor.
Faith's age was never defined. I'm sure it was defined in some like TV show companion that Faith was born on such and such a date, but she would have been between 17 and 19 at the time based on context.
So Buffy was definitely a minor when Faith was killing people.
No. Yes and no. One yes, one no.
Buffy was a senior in high school.
Yeah, she was 17 and 18.
Okay.
During Faith's murders. Buffy also killed a bunch of people. The show never dwells on it, but she 100% killed a lot of humans.
Again.
Not demons, straight up humans. Killed at least a dozen of them. But going backwards, so knowing that they end up at least in the beginning stages of Police Academy 1 through 6.
Are those movies?
Yes, we've done this already.
Oh, wait, those were, I only know them because they were a reference on an episode of Psych.
Cool. So, at the very end of the Buffy television series, we are presented with the idea that the whole world is open up to Buffy. She can do whatever she wants.
And Faith.
Less Faith.
Somewhat Faith. Anyway, back to what you're saying.
I mean, Faith at the end of the season is, you've recently broken out of prison, and then you went to a town that blew up. I guess you're on the run.
Congratulations.
I mean, Giles cleared that up pretty early up in season 8, but I mean, that's really where Faith is at the end of it is, well, you recently broke out of prison, went to Los Angeles, fought the Beast, and Angelus, and then came to Sunnydale, and that town blew up.
But that redeemed you as a person.
But will it legally?
Well, the town blew up, so I feel like yes.
It's not the town. She was in a Los Angeles prison.
Whatever. Details. Nobody cares about her anymore.
Whatever.
Changed her name.
The idea that the world is open to Buffy, but instead what happens, she leads an army of Slayers.
Yeah, and then when she becomes normal...
Well, I would say that puts her in the positive of can she be a police officer, because there's a lot of focus on Buffy is not one of them. Buffy has to be above them. Buffy has to play by a different set of rules.
Okay,
so
I'll grant you that, but then there's also the whole Satsu stuff that Buffy is still emotionally trying to work through being above everybody and being set apart.
So don't have sex with your subordinates.
Fantastic. That was a lesson that I'm not sure that Buffy really learned.
No.
Everything worked out for her, so that's a good lesson for her to remember in the future. It won't always work out.
I mean, Satsu was sad about it, but Buffy came out totally unscathed.
Yeah.
So Buffy just got happy sex, and Satsu was sad because the person that she loved had no interest in her.
Sad Satsu.
So I guess no lesson is learned, but Buffy overall did learn the lesson of that she needs to be
Of leadership.
Yeah, a step above, which she always was, and that was sometimes a point of contention at different points in the series.
Buffy also learned how to make some of those harder decisions that normally Giles/Wes would make.
Yeah, I mean, she destroyed the seed.
Yep. And
She killed Willow.
Yep.
That's a biggie.
Yep. So that's stuff that TV show Buffy definitely did not have the emotional wherewithal to make.
But as soon as Buffy is done leading this army, also I would like to add fighting the military, something she does a lot, probably not something a police officer should do, constantly fight the military.
Yeah, she's definitely on the public enemy lists a couple times.
She is. I mean, she's literally on the most wanted
comics.
list, like top 10 most wanted. So that's not a positive in the police side.
No.
I really don't know how she got this job. Season 9, she is presented with the police, and the first thing she does is run away from them, and when she is brought in, breaks out of prison. So her respect for the law is negligible. She also did this during the show. I mean, literally a cop shot at her and she ran away.
Yeah, yes. Also, Buffy during season 9 is not at Buffy's best. She's struggling hardcore with her new position and trying to be normal.
But constantly running away from the police, but she does end up working as a consultant for the cops, so that's another plus in the potential cop category.
Yeah, yes. Her file must be so thick.
There's that thing really early on in the series with Principal Flutie, R.I.P., eaten by hyena people, where he's like,
it happens.
He's like, here at our school, like, we care about your future, not your past. And he rips up her record, and then he sees that she burned the gym down, and he tapes it back up and puts it back in her file. That file's been building for some time.
Yes.
It's a good gag. It's an obvious gag, but it's a good gag.
Yes. So I feel like season 9 Buffy is kind of a draw.
And then season 10, she is accused multiple times by multiple characters of she is not ready to be an adult with responsibilities. Literally a man-child yells at her, and I'm not even talking about Xander. Shots fired at Xander.
Wow, poor Xander. He's not even here to defend himself.
Also fictional.
Also true, I guess, yeah.
And the whole end of that season is, we're not going to give in to our childish whims, and we grew up, but...
Did we ever grow up? Also...
At that point, she's like 27, 28.
I know. I was well into my life as an adult. Granted... Oh no, at 27, I was doing my own laundry at my own house. But no, 27, I was feeding you every day. Wow.
Were you?
Well, we got married when I was 26, so yes.
What? Really?
Hello.
Oh, weird.
I turned 27 not that long after, but yeah, I was 26.
Cool. Well, Buffy is defeating poltergeists in apartment buildings to get free or cheap rent.
However, now that you put it like that, I would definitely do that too.
Stab a poltergeist.
I just paid our mortgage, so yes.
Season 11 Buffy once again fights the government, as a good cop would do. So does Riley, but he gets away with it every single time.
Yeah, but season 11 Buffy is much more self-assured. She definitely has a reason behind her fighting the police situation.
She's more selfless in that season than we've seen her a lot of other times. And she doesn't have to go into that camp, but what she does in that camp, she does for Spike and she does for Willow, which isn't always the Buffy we see.
Right, exactly. That's what I mean, is that she is definitely growing as a person to know more what she believes in and what she wants to stand up for. In season 8, she kind of gets thrust into being the leader of the Slayers.
She's been around the longest, so I guess you're the leader.
Yeah, which is kind of an extension of season 7 of the TV show, where she was just kind of thrust into their leadership role.
But nowhere near as terrible, because season 7 Buffy is just a downer. Lots of speeches.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like anybody would be a downer in that situation, and you make a lot of speeches in real life.
Am I sober?
Sometimes.
Oh, cool.
They're usually about Batman.
Oh.
Sometimes Buffy.
Ooh, makes sense.
A lot of Batman, though.
Sounds reasonable. And sure, entertaining.
Yeah. Season 11 Buffy seems much more aware of her actions, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. In season 12, it's more, we got a thing to do, let's kill it.
Yeah, season 12, we're more back to like the
She's
season
used
8,
to
like,
that.
we kill things. That's what we do.
Buffy's used to that whole status quo of, hey, this is what we do. But at the end of the day, looking at Buffy as a whole, should Buffy be a police officer? I like her being a police officer consultant who kills demons, but Buffy just being a regular cop.
We've never really seen Buffy. So part of being a police officer, or being in most worlds, is that you have a superior to whom you answer. Especially
going into it.
Yeah.
You're going to be way low on that totem pole, and her only job experience really is barista and fast food.
Wasn't she a waitress?
Barista.
Okay.
Or waitress, one of those, I don't know.
It doesn't really matter. And
they're all the same.
If you are a barista and or waitress who are listening to us, I understand that they're not the same. And
Cool.
Thank you for what you do.
Hey, I am always polite to the service industry.
Yeah, you really are.
I think
And he tips very well. So that's an awesome point, too. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So Buffy has never really had a lot of experience being an appropriate subordinate, if that makes any sense.
Even the limited interactions we saw them do with the Watchers Council, like one of the last interactions she had was saying, I'm not going to do what you told me, and I'm going to throw a sword at you.
Yeah, I mean, Giles is the closest thing she's ever had to an employer, almost.
And she doesn't listen well at all.
No. And I mean, she's a teenager, and she grows up, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't know if this is a stable career choice for Buffy. I get that it's going off the whole aptitude test thing, and I know the idea of like her strength and her skill and all that would be... I also like the concept of Buffy working with the police. Like, that seems comforting on many levels, but working with and working as... Yeah.
I don't know if this is a sustainable life choice. Also, as previously mentioned, she's murdered a lot of people. And then also, what does that mean for slaying? Like, they've said that demons are at a low, but demons aren't gone. We still, I should say still because it's over, we have no idea how that legally works. We know that the world is very aware of the supernatural. We don't know what that means. Oh, another positive for Buffy being a cop, though, she was part of that Magic Council thing that went away real fast.
Oh, I forgot about that. You're right.
Because it went away real fast.
Wow, it really did. But yeah, she was part of that for half a second. Kind of like the League of Nations.
She worked with the government there, so...
Yeah, Buffy's had a very tenuous relationship with the government. Although, to be perfectly fair to Buffy, they have not always been super...
I mean, they're always evil.
Accommodating to her. Yeah, she's never been wrong about them being evil. So I guess Buffy has always worked well with the non-evil government. So, good.
Which is non-existent in Buffy?
No, I mean, like, when she worked with that guy that they didn't go on dates with, Dowling. Right? Like, she was working with the police force. She was not a police officer.
Riley and Sam were mostly nice. Graham, shout out to Graham. Graham seemed pretty nice.
Oh, I forgot about Graham.
But so early 2000s. That hair screamed the early 2000s.
Sorry, did he have frosted tips like somebody else that I know?
That sounds pretty cool, but now.
Does it sound cool?
Sounds real hip.
Wow. We made some choices and they were bad.
I don't know. I think my answer to Buffy is...
Maybe.
Yeah, it's a solid maybe. I don't know if it's sustainable. I feel like if Buffy is able to kind of get through it early on and within a couple of years work her way up to something more than a beat cop.
I can see Buffy being a really interesting...
Be a detective.
Detective. That's exactly what I was going to say. But I struggle with her as a beat cop because I struggle with her getting a shift. First of all, I can't imagine Buffy on shift work being like, you need to be here at 11 in the morning and you're off at 11 at night. Or
even worse, like you need to be here at 1 in the morning, you're off at 7. Like Buffy would be like, oh, that doesn't go with my sleep.
Well, I mean, Buffy doesn't really sleep because you think about all the night work she's done. But at the same time, like, I can see her totally being like, oops, I was supposed to be at work an hour ago and I'm still here.
Or I was slaying, so I missed my job as a police officer.
Unless the fact that most of the demons are gone. Ish helps. And maybe, okay, here's my workaround for all of this, which we'll come back to with Faith too, but maybe they are training for a very special supernatural police force.
I mean, they did say that they had that, so that could be something to roll with. So maybe Spike will work with her as a consultant, and then they'll have sex, and then they have to arrest Angel for having an illegal investigative office, because he has no official license.
Do you need a license to be a private eye?
Yeah, 99% sure. Wish you wouldn't question me on that. I'd like to say it with more conviction.
Anyway, aside from that, I also think that your mind went in weird ways. But I feel like just like how everybody doesn't... Oh, I could be totally wrong on this. But isn't it fairly standard practice no matter your position, like in the military, you still go to boot camp and then you go somewhere else after that?
I have no idea how police academy works.
I don't know how police academy works. Is that how boot camp works? I'm just trying to think about my students who have gone on to military careers, and I feel like most of them...
Well, she's not in the military. She's a cop.
I understand that, but we have similar type things. So I'm wondering if most people going into the police in some way end up going through an ordinary training situation, and then they go into their specialties.
Couldn't tell you. Let's move on to Faith.
Like a doctor.
The answer to Buffy is maybe. I mean, with a supernatural task force, better chances.
Okay, so going to Faith.
Convicted murderer Faith.
Well, let's start at season 9.
I'd say go to season 8 when
season 8.
Giles uses the powers of the non-existent council to make those go away.
Yay. Clean slate.
Oh, that's convenient.
But then
Does that mean like those files are erased? Like, you definitely couldn't become a cop just because a dead British organization said that you're not a murderer anymore. Like, they must have to go in there and scrub it.
Yeah.
So I feel like Faith's at risk.
They also have magic on their side. I feel like you're forgetting the magic part.
Okay.
And Willow.
All right. They magicked away all records unless there's...
Wizard did it.
Okay, great. Wizard did it.
Anyway, moving on.
I feel like this would catch up to her in some way or form.
I think she's fine. So, she's off doing semi-clandestine things with Giles.
Season 8, she doesn't really grow a bunch. If anything, we just kind of treat her as the Slayer that kills. She has to go...
Slayer that lives up to her name.
Has to go kill Lady Genevieve.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Kink song. Stand by it.
But the one thing that we do see about Faith in season 8 is that she is...
Feels bad about killing.
Well, there's that. But she is patient enough to put up with the fact that she's not Giles' favorite. And she's still going to do it. And she's still going to go with him.
Repeatedly.
And she's still going to suck it up and do what's best for literally everybody else, even though she is not Giles' favorite.
Season 9, we see a lot of growth on Faith's side. It's not that she's not really working for anyone, but she's at least good at working with someone, which is a first. Because the only other person she's been good working with up to that point is the mayor?
He's not a person, he's a snake.
That's not great.
Still a snake.
Yeah, but still we do see her actually treating someone as an equal, as a co-conspirator, as a partner, as a clandestine private eye.
I'm not going to comment on your use of that word.
Doesn't work in that setting at all.
Also, you made it into a verb. Anyway.
In season 10, she goes and works for a government-esque organization with Kennedy's deep scan people and immediately quits. And only sticks around when there's something that she's going to be personally attached to.
Uh-huh, that's true.
Not great. That's a negative in the category.
That is a negative in the category. However, I feel like she went with it until she realized that she was just a glorified security guard who couldn't actually use her particular skill set. And so this goes back to the fact that if there is actually a supernatural forces unit, she would be fantastic at it because...
She took over immediately after someone died.
Yeah.
We forget her name. She was around for like half an issue.
Sorry, guys. / lady who died. But she would be really awesome at that. But Faith doesn't want her time wasted. And I feel like if she determines that her time is being wasted as whatever the job of her police officering is.
After season 9, Faith kind of stagnates a little bit. Like, she has a lot of growth in season 9, but after that, despite the book being titled Angel and Faith,
she just kind of hangs out.
Yeah, which I don't mind, but...
She, like, does some stuff, but...
Like, she doesn't... If we're talking in the police category, I don't think she does anything particularly pro or con police. She does work with the police a little bit. She works with Brandt. Granted, Brandt is an evil vampire, but still works with him.
Details. She does work with him. And I also think the deep scan stuff doesn't necessarily count her out of police officering. I think it counts her out of security guarding or bodyguarding. I think that your role and your expectations as a police officer are very different from your role as a private bodyguard.
Season 11, she shows up at the end just to be the muscle.
Yeah.
Not a lot to say there. Season 12, although I don't think we really talked about it at the time, I felt like the way Faith talked was a little, even though it was done by Christos Gage, who had written kind of the best stuff of Faith in season 9. The season 12 stuff, just the way she talked felt a little regressive for the character. I can't really point to anything. It just kind of felt like the older Faith. By older, I mean younger.
I know what you mean. The former Faith.
She did have a moment of she was literally willing to sacrifice herself to save the world. So, that's a big plus in the Faith category. But just aside from that, the way she talked felt kind of the way she was.
Back when Faith and Buffy were trying to...
It's like season 3 Faith all over again.
Yeah, exactly.
I think my answer, can Faith be a cop?
It depends on what she's going to do as a cop. I can see her being a really awesome investigator. I can see her being a really awesome supernatural forces cop. I would really struggle to see Faith as just...
giving speeding tickets or dealing with drunks. I don't think she has the temperament.
I can see Faith really struggling with working her way up through that ladder. If she could somehow manage to find her way in a niche, she'd be fine.
I'm going to go with a no on Faith.
I'm going to go with a... depends on where she is.
And also the idea of Buffy and Faith trying to go for the same job a second time around, that worked out really well the first time.
I'm going to go with they are joining a new supernatural squad because that's the only way I can make it work in my brain.
Yeah, I don't I don't think either one of them are going to work out in this position, but I think Buffy has a chance of staying in there a bit longer than Faith by maybe 6 months. Not to be negative, they just don't seem like the people who would be able to go to the beat of someone else's drum when it comes to professional work. Not a bad thing.
Says the man who works by himself.
Damn right.
For himself.
Hate going to the beat of someone else's drum. That's why I left.
Right. So the short answer is, I think it depends on where they are, and you think it's kind of a...
Yeah, to answer the question...
Meh.
Oh, well, to phrase it the way that we kind of presented the question, can Buffy and Faith be normal adults? Yes.
Can they be cops?
Probably not.
They can be very specialized consultants and or special unit cops, but I think that they would really struggle in all of the day-to-day things that an actual police officer has to do.
Yeah, I agree. That's where we stand. So I guess that'll do it for this one. Just a discussion.
Let us know what you guys think.
Thoughts. Next time, we live up to the mantra of this show.
What is it?
I have to write it.
What's our mantra?
No, I don't want to spoil it. It's big. It'll be the biggest show we've ever done.
Yeah.
I need to sit down and write that. That's going to take me the whole 2 weeks.
Oh, it's going to take us a while to record.
I don't know.
We need to block out a lifetime.
We'll see. It'll be a biggie. And although I still do want to shoot for a couple of interviews, next episode is kind of going to be the cap on this part of the show.
Oh, it's kind of sad.
I mean, there's still more stuff coming because Buffy and Firefly are, up and running, or just about.
Woohoo.
And I've been asked, no, I have no extra information about Buffy. What you guys all see is what I've seen too. I don't have anything extra.
That's true. I would tell you if he didn't tell you.
I like the character designs. I'm curious why Anya is going to be there right off the bat. That'll be interesting to see.
Because Anya should never have died.
Well, she was always relegated to a weird role, especially after the marriage. It's like, I felt bad to the point of like, why is she still here? Because she's under contract?
Anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. Where can you find us?
EditorsNoComics.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you want to get next week's show or 2 week show, whatever the hell it is, a week early, Patreon.com/EditorsNoComics, a minimum of $1 a month.
That's it, just $1.
Over there, we are doing Firefly and Buffy comic reviews as they come out month to month before doing the main coverage that will be in the feed. And yeah, I mean, if you want to get next show early, it's a biggie.
Yeah, it's going to be huge.
It's a big biggie. But beyond that, I guess we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.